every single day is already a kind of quiet miracle. While some people are lying in hospital beds, wondering if their bodies will carry them through another night, while others are not sure where their next meal is coming from, while someone out there feels completely alone with no one to talk to, you are here, breathing, listening, with enough strength and curiosity to press play on a video about healing your life. That alone tells me something very beautiful about you and about your journey. There is still a part of you that believes your life can get better. There is still enough light in you to reach for a loving voice. So when I say to you, my life gets better all the time, I don't say it as a shallow slogan. I say it as a gentle invitation to notice the miracle that you are alive right here, right now, with another chance to think a kinder thought. My darling, what if, even when it doesn't look like it, your life is actually getting better all the time? What if, underneath the noise, there is a quiet movement toward more love, more wisdom, more strength inside you? You may not feel it yet, but the fact that you are here with me tells me life has not given up on you. And I don't want you to give up on life. I know there are days when it does not feel like anything is getting better. There are mornings when you wake up heavy, when nothing in your outer world seems to have changed, when the same bills, the same worries, the same complicated relationships greet you at the door of your mind. I would never say to you, just pretend it's all fine. That is not what this affirmation is about. My life gets better all the time is not a way to run away from your problems. It is a way to gently guide your mind through them. You are not saying there are no problems. You are saying, even inside my problems, something in me is learning, something in me is healing, something in me is shifting toward good. This sentence gives your mind a direction, like turning the steering wheel 1 degree at a time. You do not have to jump from despair to ecstasy. You simply begin by allowing the possibility that life is not standing still, that your story is not frozen at its worst chapter. You do not need to be perfect to say this. You do not need a perfect life to say this. You only need a little willingness to let things improve, even 1%, instead of repeating the old story that everything is hopeless. When you whisper, my life gets better all the time, you are sending a new assignment to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious is like a very loyal assistant who has been taking notes on everything you say about your life. If for years you have been affirming, nothing ever changes for me, it's always the same, I can't catch a break, then your inner assistant has dutifully highlighted those sentences and said, all right, we look for more of that. We notice what matches that. This is not because you are bad. It is simply how the mind works. Now, when you introduce, my life gets better all the time, you are giving your inner assistant a different memo. Please begin to look for improvement. Please begin to notice what is healing, what is softening, what is opening. You are not erasing your history. You are updating your instructions. And that little phrase all the time is very powerful. It does not mean only on good days. It does not mean only when I get what I want. It means that in every season, in grief and in joy, in waiting and in arrival, in confusion and in clarity, There is some aspect of you that is capable of growth, of insight, of choosing love a tiny bit more. All the time includes the messy days, the ordinary days, the days you cry in the shower and still wash your face and keep going. Think of a plant growing in a crack in the sidewalk. On the surface, you might walk by and say, "Nothing is happening here, it's just concrete." But under the surface, the roots are exploring, finding moisture, making room for themselves. Only later do you notice the little green sprout, and you say, "Oh, when did that appear?" It was appearing all along. Your life is like that. When you hold the thought, "My life gets better all the time," you are honoring the roots, not just the flowers. You are honoring the small acts of courage you take every day. Getting out of bed when you don't want to, answering one more email, deciding not to send that angry text, choosing to listen instead of attack, pressing play on a healing message instead of numbing yourself again. All of that counts as better. Your nervous system calming just a bit counts as better. One night of deeper sleep counts as better. Saying no one time when you usually betray yourself counts as better. We are not waiting for the big plot twist to call your life better. We are blessing the quiet upgrades that are already happening. This is where the law of focus becomes so important. There is a very simple principle that runs through your experience. What you focus on expands. The things you give your attention to become larger in your awareness. If you constantly think, "Nothing works for me, nothing ever changes, my life is one long disappointment," your mind will faithfully filter your day through that belief. You will notice every delay, every misunderstanding, every moment of fatigue, and file it under proof. You will drive past 3 kind gestures and remember only the one person who was rude. That does not mean those other good things were not there. It just means your focus was trained on what supports your painful story. When you begin to softly repeat, "My life gets better all the time," you are not casting a spell on the universe. You are changing the direction of your focus. You are telling your mind, "Look for better, look for gentler, look for the slightest sign that something is improving." Imagine you put on a pair of glasses called "Nothing Ever Works Out." Through those lenses, even a small inconvenience becomes a catastrophe, and a neutral moment becomes proof of your belief. Now imagine changing those glasses to a new pair called "My Life Gets Better All the Time." You are still in the same world, with the same weather and the same people, but what you notice begins to shift. You see the friend who checked in on you. You feel how your body recovers a little faster from stress than it used to. You notice that you handled a situation today with a bit more grace than last year. You become aware that your anger passes more quickly, that your ability to say, "I'm sorry," or "No, that doesn't work for me," is a little stronger. These are small things, but remember, my dear, what you focus on expands. If you focus on these signs of growth, they will grow. If you honor tiny improvements, they start to feel worth repeating. For so long, you may have been waiting for one big event to prove that your life is better. A new job, a large sum of money, a perfect partner, a complete clean slate. Until then, you might tell yourself, "Nothing has changed. It's all the same." But life rarely moves only in big leaps. Most of the time, It moves in small, almost invisible increments. The law of focus invites you to stop waiting for the miracle headline and start reading the little notes of progress scattered through your day. Did you drink more water today than last week? Did you bring your attention back to your breath once instead of spiraling for an hour? Did you choose to speak a little more kindly to yourself when you made a mistake? These are not nothing. These are exactly the ways your life gets better all the time. And when you tell your mind, "My life gets better all the time," you are encouraging it to track these shifts instead of only counting the disappointments. So today, instead of asking, "Why isn't everything fixed yet?" try asking, "Where can I see that my life is just a tiny bit better than it used to be?" Maybe your reactions are softer. Maybe you recover from sadness a little sooner. Maybe you now know that therapy exists, that support exists, that new thoughts are possible. Maybe the fact that you can listen to this message and understand it is already a sign of how far you've come. I want you to begin practicing a new inner habit. Each evening, find at least one thing that shows, "My life gets better all the time." It may be as simple as, "I handled that conversation better," or "I didn't give up on myself today." And as you notice it, whisper, "Thank you, life. My life gets better all the time." You do not have to believe it 100% on the first day. You only need to be willing to give your focus a new assignment. The old storyline has had many years to grow strong. This new thought is like a young plant. Protect it. Water it with repetition, with curiosity, with small acts that match it. When you choose to go to bed a little earlier, that is, "My life gets better." When you choose to leave a room instead of staying in an argument that hurts you, that is, "My life gets better." When you choose a kinder word toward yourself, that is, "My life gets better," your mind will follow where you send your focus, and your life will follow where your mind gently goes. So let us say it together as a new instruction, as a new lens, as a new way of walking through your days. My life gets better all the time. My life gets better all the time. My life gets better all the time. Now that we've opened the door to this new thought, I want to gently turn your face in a slightly different direction and show you something very simple. The way you look at your day decides what kind of day you think you had. Most minds have been trained to wake up and ask, "What's wrong? What might go wrong? What did I do wrong?" And then they spend the next 16 hours collecting evidence to support that question. It's like walking around with a magnifying glass, searching only for cracks in the wall and completely ignoring the flowers on the table. I'd like you to begin training a new question. What's growing? Instead of, "Where am I failing?" try, "Where am I learning? Where am I a tiny bit softer, a tiny bit wiser, a tiny bit more patient than I used to be?" This shift does not erase the difficult parts of your day, but it refuses to let them be the only story. When something challenging happens, the old mind says, "See, nothing ever gets better." The new mind whispers, "This hurts." And still, what is growing in me because of this? Is my courage growing? Is my ability to set boundaries growing? Is my compassion for others in pain growing? At the end of the day, Instead of replaying everything that felt heavy, take a pen and write 3 simple sentences that begin with, "Today, my life got better when." Maybe you write, "Today, my life got better when I chose to walk away from that argument. Today, my life got better when I drank water instead of numbing myself. Today, my life got better when I said something kind to myself after I made a mistake." This little practice moves you out of judging your life and into observing your growth. You become a loving scientist of your own evolution, noticing tiny improvements that used to go unseen. And as you do this, your affirmation, "My life gets better all the time," stops being just a sentence and starts becoming the way you actually experience your days. I also want you to understand that it is not just time that matters. It is the energy you bring into your time. So many people say to me, "I don't have time to make my life better," and yet they spend hours in a state of tension, resentment, and overgiving that drains them completely. Time is quantity, energy is quality. 16 hours of being busy and exhausted does not necessarily make your life better. One honest hour where you rest deeply, or nourish your body, or sit quietly with your feelings can lift the tone of your entire week. So in the morning, instead of only asking, "What do I have to get done today?" add 2 very important questions. What would make my energy better today? And what drains me that I can gently reduce? Perhaps what would make your energy better is 10 minutes of stretching, or turning off the news for one evening, or taking a slow walk after dinner instead of rushing straight into more work. Perhaps what drains you is a certain kind of conversation, or scrolling late at night, or agreeing to something your heart doesn't want. You do not have to change everything all at once. You can begin by adjusting one tiny valve at a time. Think of 3 areas of your energy: your body, your mind, and your spirit. Your body is asking for sleep, for food that truly nourishes you, for movement that feels kind rather than punishing. When you choose to go to bed a little earlier or feed yourself something wholesome, you are saying, "My life is worth feeling better in this body." Your mind is shaped by what you tell it and what you feed it. Your inner dialogue, the information you take in, the people you listen to, the voices you repeat. When you limit the drama and the constant bad news, when you choose a book, a healing video, or a moment of silence, instead you are saying, "My thoughts deserve a gentler environment." Your spirit is the part of you that feels connected to something larger than your fear through prayer, meditation, journaling, or simply sitting quietly in gratitude. When you give your spirit even 5 minutes a day, you are saying, "I remember that I am more than my to-do list." As you tend these 3 areas, your overall energy begins to lift, and suddenly, "My life gets better all the time" is no longer just a mental idea. You feel it in your bones when you wake up less tired. You feel it in your chest when your anxiety is a little softer. You feel it in your day when there is more space to breathe between the tasks. You are not only managing your schedule, you are tending the quality of your existence. Underneath all of this, there is a very tender lesson that we must face together. Many people are blocking good things from staying in their lives because deep down they do not feel worthy of them. You might say with your mouth, "My life gets better all the time," but in the secret corners of your heart there is a quiet voice whispering, "Not for me. I don't deserve it. People like me don't get to have it good." As long as that old belief sits like a guard at the gate, every time something lovely tries to come in kindness, opportunity, rest, love, you may unconsciously push it away. You might sabotage a healthy relationship because you are waiting to be abandoned. You might spend money as soon as it arrives because having abundance feels unfamiliar and unsafe. You might talk yourself out of applying for something you truly want, telling yourself, "They would never choose me anyway." None of this means you are broken. It simply means you have been carrying a painful belief. I don't really deserve a good life. I want you to hear me very clearly now. You were not born to be punished. You were not put on this earth to be the exception to goodness. You deserve a life that gets better, not because you have been perfect, but because you exist. You are part of life, and life desires to express more love, more joy, more creativity through you. When we say, "My life gets better all the time," we are not only talking about external events, we are talking about giving yourself permission to let good things actually stay. It is as if you are telling the universe, "I allow my life to improve. I allow good things to come. I allow good things to stay." To do this, you will need to begin releasing the old story that your past mistakes disqualify you from a beautiful future. Every human being has done things they regret. You have made choices from fear, from pain, from confusion. I have too. These are not life sentences. They are lessons. Instead of hitting yourself again and again with the same memory, you can gently say, "I did the best I could with the understanding I had then. I am willing to learn and do differently now." So here is a little practice for worthiness. Each time something good happens, even something very small, watch what your mind wants to say about it. Perhaps someone compliments you, or you receive a bit of unexpected money, or you have a day where your body feels lighter. Notice if you immediately say, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just luck. It won't last." That is the old unworthy voice trying to shut the door. Instead, I would like you to pause, take a breath, and softly say, "This is one of the ways my life is getting better." Let that sentence land in your body. Feel how different it is from dismissing the blessing. You might say, "Thank you, life. This is one of the ways my life is getting better." You are training yourself to receive. You are training yourself to recognize that you are, in fact, included in the circle of those who are allowed to have a good life. And every time you let a blessing in without arguing with it, you strengthen the belief, "I am worthy of good things. I am worthy of a life that improves." Over time, as you shift your perspective from what's wrong to what's growing, as you care for your energy instead of only chasing the clock, and as you allow yourself to feel worthy of a life that gets better, something very beautiful will happen. The affirmation, "My life gets better all the time," will stop feeling like a stretch and start feeling like a description. You will look back and see that although everything did not change overnight, you changed. Your view changed. Your choices changed. Your relationship with yourself changed. And when you change, my darling, your life cannot help but follow. You know, my darling, I didn't always walk around thinking, my life gets better all the time. There were seasons when I got up in the morning and the first thing my mind did was list everything that was wrong. My body, my bank account, my relationships. One day, I decided to experiment with something very simple. I took a small notebook and I called it my evidence journal. I told myself, if I'm going to say that my life is getting better all the time, I need to give my mind proof. So each evening, I wrote down 3 things. One thing on the outside. Maybe I received a kind message. Maybe something small went easier than usual. Maybe a stranger smiled at me in a way that warmed my heart. One thing on the inside. Perhaps I stayed calmer in a situation where I used to explode. Perhaps I didn't judge myself as harshly. Perhaps I said no lovingly instead of collapsing into resentment. And one thing about my habits. Maybe I drank more water, turned off the television earlier, put my phone down and read a few pages of something nourishing, or I chose to stop comparing myself for just one moment. At first, it felt tiny, almost silly. But here is what I want you to understand. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition and evidence. Every time you record one outer sign, one inner shift, and one small habit improvement, you are showing your deeper mind. Look, sweetheart, it's happening. Life is getting better. After a while, my life gets better all the time. Stopped being a theory and became a conclusion my own mind had to agree with, because the pages of my life were filled with proof. You can do this too. A few minutes with your evidence journal before bed can gently retrain your brain to notice progress instead of only pain. Now let us bring this affirmation into the rhythm of your everyday life so it doesn't just live in a notebook. In the morning, as soon as you open your eyes, before you pick up your phone or rehearse your problems, I want you to quietly ask yourself, if my life is getting better all the time, what is one gentle choice I can make this morning? Not 10 choices, not 50 resolutions, just one gentle choice. Maybe it is to breathe for 2 minutes before you stand up. Maybe it is to speak kindly to your reflection. Maybe it is to eat something that truly nourishes you instead of punishing your body. During the day, when something difficult happens, perhaps a plan falls apart, someone speaks sharply to you, or an old fear rises. The old story wants to shout, everything is falling apart. In that moment, instead of joining the drama, take one deeper breath and softly whisper inside, something is rearranging so my life can get better. You are not denying the challenge. You are reminding yourself that life often has to rearrange the furniture before the room can feel more beautiful. Then in the evening, as you lie in bed, before you drift into sleep, I want you to murmur to yourself, today, in some ways I see and some ways I don't, my life got better, and tomorrow it will continue. This way, the day begins, continues, and ends with the same loving instruction to your mind. You see, you don't need 100 different affirmations. You need one true sentence, spoken at the right moments and supported by tiny, loving actions. When you pair my life gets better all the time with even the smallest new choices, you are not just talking to yourself. You are retraining your entire nervous system to expect improvement instead of catastrophe. Of course, there will be days when you simply do not feel that anything is getting better at all. I have had those days too, when the affirmation felt like a language from another planet. On those days, I don't want you to force yourself to be cheerful or to paste a smile over a breaking heart. Spiritual growth is not about pretending you are fine when you are not. On the very hard days, your job is not to be perfectly positive. Your job is simply not to attack yourself with the old, cruel sentences. You may not be able to say, "My life gets better all the time," with conviction, but you can refuse to say, "My life never works. Nothing ever changes. It's always going to be like this." That is already tremendous progress. Instead, reach for softer bridges. You might say, "Today is hard, and I'm still open to my life getting better." Or, "Even if I don't see it yet, something is quietly healing." Or, "Right now, I'm hurting, and I give myself permission to rest while life continues its work." Do you feel the difference? You are not shutting the door on your future just because today feels dark. You are leaving the door slightly ajar. You allow the storm to pass through without declaring, "This is the only weather I will ever have." On these difficult days, being gentle with yourself is itself a way that life is getting better. The fact that you no longer pile shame on top of pain is a profound improvement. Sometimes the biggest better is simply, "I didn't abandon myself today when I felt low." So in the end, my darling, "My life gets better all the time" is not just a sentence. It is a way of living. A better life does not usually arrive in one dramatic event. It is woven from thousands of tiny choices. What you focus on, how you speak to yourself, how you care for your energy, how you respond to your own pain. Every time you choose a kinder thought instead of the habitual cruel one, life gets better in that moment. Every